Yo, what's up? Ah, here we go. Here's my idea for Pokemon Legends Alola. We have two Pokemon Legends games. We have Legends Arceus and Legends EA. And over the years, I've been very interested in this idea of a Legends game, going into the future, past the mainline story, and then going back into the past with Legends Arceus. So over here, we're gonna see her and talk about a Legends Alola game. Here we go. So before we start this, make sure you guys sub, like, and comment.
Let's of course start with the starters. Now first let's go to grass, we're going with Ribollum. Grookey, my gosh. Perfect grass type for the Alola region. I think Grookey captures the essence and fun of the Alola region, and so it's just diversity and of its fun. It's just a fun Pokemon. Thwackey, and then Ribollum. Perfect Alola Pokemon grass type starter. Fueco, fire type starter. With Crocolore and Skellige or something like that. Yeah. I think it's not the best fire type for a lower region, but a Crocodile, Fire Ghost. I think that's pretty cool. Swampert. Pretty random. You know, Mudkip, Marshtomp, Swampert. Having it being a water and ground type, I think that's pretty good. Of course, they have their abilities of Vigoro, Blaze, whatever the other one is, Drizzle, I don't know. And then we're gonna go with our Kanto Pokemon. Now these Pokemon are in the Alola region, and are there gonna be different versions? No, this is a Legends game. So this is gonna be a lot of Kanto Pokemon, so just brace yourself. So we got Beedrill, Ekans, Arbok, Wigglytuff, Jigglypuff, Igglybuff, Zubats, Golbats, Crobats, Oddish, Gloom, Vileplume. We have Horsey, Seadra, Kingdra, the crab Pokemon thing, Parasect, Mankey, Primeape, Annihilate, also be in there too. Poliwhirl, Poliwag, Poliwrath, and Politoed, Bellsprout, Weeping Bell, Victory Bell. Is also, I'm reading this off, by the way. Tentacruel and Slowpoke, Slowbro, Slowking, Farfetch'd, normal Farfetch'd, Dewing, Dugong, Mr. Moan. Just drop my eraser. We got Lapras, Gyarados, Magikarp. All of the EVs will be available in this version. Snorlax, Munchlax, Dragonite, Dragonair, Dratini, Omanyte, Omastar, Kabuto, Kabutops, and Tauros. Now, ones that I would add to there, I could add. I can't think of any other ones I want to add. You know, maybe I could add like Mewtwo in there or something like that, but Mewtwo wouldn't make any sense. There's ancient Alola, so I'm thinking maybe get Mew in there, but Mew's a lot more of a rare Pokemon. So I would add like the 3 legendary birds. Kind of like how you had the 4 genies in Legends Arceus. I think you could do that as well. Johto. We have Lantern, that like water electric Pokemon. We have Yamega and Yaming. Corsola, Quagsire, and the Whopper, Whopper, Quillfish, normal Quillfish, no Hisuian Quillfish or anything. Remoraid, Octillery, Delibird, Mantine, and of course the other one, Mantime or something like that, and Exatu. And Atu. Now Hoenn is gonna have like the second most. Like this is full of Hoenn and Kanto Pokemon. Now we're done with Hoenn. For Sinnoh, we got Frolass, Menoswine, Evolution line with Swinub and Piloswine, and Rotom. For Unova, we got all the monkey Pokemon. We got. Now for Carlos, we got Lucha, Florges, Quartz Evolution line, Gudra, Gumi, Sliggoo, Noiva, Noibat, and Bergmites, Avlog. No Hisui Pokemon. There's no like regional Pokemon, nothing like that. Of course, you're gonna have the alone versions of the Pokemon, but that's a part of the alone Pokedex, so that's why I don't mention those ones. And then we're gonna have a few from Galar and Paldea. You're gonna have the Galar fossil Pokemon. That's after the story, and you have Escui. Don't ask why. For Paldea, you have Wattrel, you got Baxcalibur, you got Flamigo, you got the little thing, floating thing that evolves to Esparta, so you got those two. You got Burnbirder and Finizen. And that's all the Pokemon in the game. And now we're gonna get on to the story. So the story of Alola, it starts off with a war. A Pokemon war. There's been a theory going on since Pokemon started about a Pokemon war. But there's a special Pokemon war that happened in ancient times. Now this takes place probably like after Legends Arceus because, Pokeballs were made in the Hisui region. So now there's a war going on in the Alola region. And basically it's against, the people from Galar. And then other things going on too. They're trying to, fight for power because they don't trust each other, stuff like that. Vague stuff like how the storyline kind of is. They're fighting for years and just years of fighting. Until the Guardians had to come and stop it and put it to an end. And these Guardians put the fighting to an end and make peace. And basically just to separate the people entirely. Because the island used to be a lot more unified. Now it's a lot more separated, as you can see. And each island has its own faction, kind of like its own rule and its own kingdom in a sort of way. And then for 16 straight years, no fighting, no conflicts, no beef, none of that. And the colonists, I wouldn't call them colonists, but technically they kind of like took the trading ports. Of course, people from Hisui came along, but they didn't want them to bring their regional Pokemon or any of their Pokemon. But they did take Rowlet from there. They knew that. I mean, they're friends with the ancient Sinnohs, the people, the Hisui people. They're friends with them, and also with other groups, Cantonians, Jotonians. That's how you get a lot of Kanto Pokemon, and you have alone versions of those. That's how you get a lot of home Pokemon, because it's theorized that the people in Alola came from Hoenn, which would make a lot of sense because that's the south, right? And it's pretty similar. I think that makes sense. So then, continuing after this war, basically this kid is born like during the war, basically in the middle of a fire. And basically one of the Topper Guardians, Tapu Koko, is protecting you as you're born. And Tapu Koko takes you into his wing as the mother is brutally killed. But we don't get to see that on screen or anything like that. It's a kid's game, remember? So Tapu Koko takes this kid and basically trains him up. And the father is given a huge task for 16 years to basically train up. Basically, I think his grandfather is a professor. His grandfather is a professor. So, yeah, basically they train over time, over the years, to prepare this kid to save this Alola region. Basically save the region, to basically stop the chaos, to protect Alola in its foundation. Because you have Solgaleo and Lunala. Solgaleo and Lunala are basically these legendary Pokemon that are supposed to be controlling the sun and the moon, which is very big. So they kind of have a role similar to, I would say, the most I could compare them to is legendary birds. But I think they're more powerful than the legendary birds because they could literally travel through space and time. That they could travel through ultra-dimensional wormholes. I think they're pretty powerful. Not Dialga and Paldea powerful, but like they gotta be in like number like 12, 11. Like they're pretty powerful. And then you have Necrozma. So very similar to Sagrom and Reshiram. I think that's the most they're similar to. Because they control, technically, I don't think they control weather, but like, they control like the sun and moon. Which means they also control like the tides and waves. So that's a huge impact. And that could relate a lot to Arceus. So I think there's going to be a lot of references to Legends of Arceus in this sort of sense. That's so good, not control the sun and the moon. That could lead to some type of, I have no idea. I'm just trying to like understand myself, the legendaries and why they exist in the Pokemon world. But anyways, you're trained up by Tapu Koko, you're 16 years old, you go on your Pokemon journey, you start Melee Island, you want to adventure through this dangerous lower place and break it free of this fake unsettled peace and basically make the whole region unite again. Pretty simple, right? So how do you go on with that? You start with these 3 starters, Of course, the professor sort of picks it for you. They just come out of nowhere. Because you're going to get Rowlet, Lilin, or Popplio, but instead you got these random 3. So you only have to choose. Let's say you choose like Grookey or something. And then you gotta battle, battle your way, adventure your way. There's not gonna be this boring, long dialogue. You basically just get sent out, and you're just like, good luck. Like they're not gonna baby hand you and give you all this dialogue. They're like, you're on your own. It's like Tapu Koko trained you for 16 years. It's not like you woke up on a beach or you just got out of your house. No, you were trained for this moment. You're not 10 years. You're not even 15 years, 16 years old. They just push you out there, like, just a good look. Give you all the resources you need. And of course, Tapu Koko's there to aid you and all that stuff. Of course, he's not, like, following you everywhere, but he's there to aid you whenever you need it. So you're out there adventuring by yourself on your own with the materials and stuff that you need. And it's kind of like a survival type of game. Basically try to survive, battle, make a way through the islands and all that stuff. It's very, very, very interesting how the game works in this sort of way. And of course, you have legendaries like all the Reggies, you have all the Tapus, you have Solgaleo, and Necrozma, and then after the game, after the story, you get to catch the Ultra Beast. And maybe you might be able to catch even a couple more Pokemon there in the Ultra Space Dimension wormholes. Who knows? Maybe even Arceus. Actually, I think that would be cool to catch Arceus in the game. And maybe the Ultra Beasts aren't shiny locked. Maybe the Ultra Beasts are the only legendary / mythicals that don't have a shiny lock. Of course, Melmetal and Meltan will be in the game because if you look at the description of the Pokemon, it hasn't been around since ancient times, so it makes sense if it was around during this time and period. Now the social structure of the Alola region, it's kind of like pretty simple. Like it's like a chief, and then like that's pretty much it, and some rules. So there's a chief guarding every single island, and basically, it's kind of similar to the Gen 2 game. You gotta defeat like not 16. There's 8 in the main story, and then of course post there's 8 they have to fight. So you're fighting 8 guardians, and then you fight the 4 chiefs, kind of like the Elite Four, before you go against Not the ultimate champion. No, you're going against the legendary Pokemon. You're not gonna catch it at first. I'm not gonna say what it is, because that's for another video, another conversation. But right now, we're talking about Z crystals, yes. Are we gonna implement Z moves? Z moves, I have no idea. That might be changed or be altered. I think we could do something with Z moves in territorialization, where we could create Z moves based off of the type of the Pokemon, and but yeah, Terra types basically. I think that'd be really unique, just to create, Z crystals based off of Terra types or types, or maybe like the hidden power thing we see in the nursery. Like that would be a very interesting concept that if they go with that one. Now again, don't forget we have the Alolan Pokemon. I didn't mention them because they're already a part of that Pokedex, and the Alolan forms as well. I think that's pretty much it. Like this a pretty good and solid story for a game. Pretty base, pretty unique. I think it's better than Legends Arceus in my opinion. Because Legends Arceus, I don't even remember what happens. You get baby handed everything. All this dialogue. Oh my gosh, so much dialogue and talking, and it completely overshadows and clogs up the entire it's trash. It's trash. Like, it's so simple. Like, create a game where you actually have to survive. Make the main character older. Make the rating like 10 and up. And make it like the original games, where you gotta go out and adventure yourself. You're not going to somebody to get your own Pokemon. You have a literal wooden bag, or like a wooden box, where you gotta get your Pokemon out and all that stuff. You're given all the equipment to do so. And the only person that's protecting you is Tabukoko. There we go. I think that's pretty good. And also ride Pokemon. You get to ride your own Pokemon. Yes. That's wonderful to me. So there you have it. There is Pokemon Legends Eclipse. I changed it, yes. I mean, you saw it in the beginning of the video. That's all I got for you guys. Make sure you do what you gotta do, and see you guys later.